Hello. Today we are having a relaxing interview with Mr. James Sunderland. So, let's get right into it. When you first read the letter from Mary, James, what did you feel? Relief, fear, or something else entirely?
What kind of question is that? I mean, of course I felt happy. Confused, but that too. My wife wrote to me after her funeral 3 years ago. It makes no sense, but I have to see her.
Why do you need to see her, James?
He hesitates. A moment of honesty. Because I have to. I don't know why. I just feel like I have to go. I don't understand anything anymore, but I want to.
Why are you so confused, James?
Because it doesn't make any sense. How can my wife, who's been dead for 3 years, suddenly tell me she's waiting for me in Silent Hill? It's impossible. But I have to find her anyway.
What was the last moment with Mary that you truly believed was real, James?
What a strange question. A pause as he rubs his chin, considering the question. I suppose it was the last time I saw her in the hospital, just before she died.
What do you remember about the last time you saw her, James?
James looks away, thinking. Her hair was very white, her body so thin and fragile. I held her hand and I told her that everything was going to be okay, that she should just try to get some rest.
By going to Silent Hill, do you think you were punishing yourself, or you were hoping to be forgiven, James?
Both, perhaps. I don't know. I feel like I've done something wrong. But I don't even know what it is or why. This whole thing, it all feels like a nightmare.
I think deep down, James, you know exactly why you're here.
James's mouth hangs open as if to respond, but he says nothing. His hands tremble as he grips the photo and envelope so tight, his knuckles turning white. He averts his gaze.
How do you explain the version of Mary that walked those foggy streets, James?
I don't know. Maybe it was just my mind playing tricks on me. His voice starts off firm, but a tremble creeps in as he speaks, betraying his doubt. He rubs his temples.
The Mary that walked with you through the streets of Silent Hill, was she a memory, a ghost, or your guilt given flesh?
James's eyes widen at the realization of the truth that's been in front of him all along. He clenches his fist, his breathing quickening. He shakes his head as if he can't bear to accept it. No, it can't be. It just can't be. I didn't.
You did, James. Now who do you think that Mary represented to you, symbolized?
Everything, I suppose. My guilt, my regret, the mistakes I made, the life I took away. James closes his eyes, a single tear rolling down his cheek.
Did you think that Mary that walked with you through the streets was more beautiful than the Mary you remember before the incident?
Yes, his voice falters. The Mary in the town was so young, so full of life. She was the same as when we first met. James looks down at the photo clutched in his trembling hands. In the photograph, Mary already looked ill.
Was Pyramid Head justice or mercy, James?
James's eyes widen, his expression full of horror. He shakes his head vigorously, as if trying to deny the truth. I have no idea. I don't want to know.
Tell me, James. Tell me.
James lets out a cry of anguish, his whole body trembling as he tries to hold back his sobs. Pyramid Head was both a judge deciding my fate and the executioner carrying out my punishment. It was both justice and mercy.
Did you ever believe you'd leave Silent Hill alive, James?
James's voice is barely a whisper. No, I didn't.
Do you believe you deserve to leave Silent Hill alive, James?
No, I don't think I do. Not after everything I've done.
Now knowing what you've done, James, what do you think of yourself?
I think of myself as a person who made a mistake. A horrible, unforgivable mistake. I have no right to forgive myself. I don't deserve forgiveness, not after what I did.
If Mary could truly speak to you one last time, what do you think she'd say? And would you believe her?
James rubs his forehead, his expression pained, trying to imagine it. I want to believe she'd say that she forgives me, that she still loves me, and that she hopes I can forgive myself. But I don't deserve. His shoulders shake as he stifles a sob. God, I don't deserve any of that.
You met others in Silent Hill. Angela, Eddie. Did you see yourself in them? Or did you think they were more broken than you, James?
Both, I think. I saw my own pain, guilt, and suffering mirrored in them, and their pain and suffering made me realize how broken I really was.
Was Laura a blessing or a cruel reminder of everything you'd lost, James?
James's eyes missed at the mention of Laura. She was both, I guess. A blessing because she was so innocent, a reminder of what I could have had. A cruel reminder because she showed me what I had taken from Mary, from myself.
If the town reflects your inner world, then what does its silence say about your soul, James?
Silence says that it's empty, vacant. There's just nothing left. No joy, no love, no hope.
Is it worse to be haunted by the dead or by who you were when they died?
Both are painful in their own way, but being haunted by who you were when they died is like reliving the pain over and over again. It's like a wound that never heals. So yeah, being haunted by who you were is worse.
Do you believe you were ever meant to find peace in Silent Hill, James? Or was the town only ever a mirror?
James pauses for a moment, his expression weary and defeated. I don't think I was ever meant to find peace. The town is a cruel, twisted place, full of suffering and darkness. Peace doesn't exist here, only pain and torment.
Is forgiveness something we can earn, or something we decide to give ourselves, James?
Both, I suppose. We have to earn forgiveness by doing the right things, making amends and taking responsibility for our actions. But in the end, we also have to decide to forgive ourselves, to learn from our mistakes and move forward, if we can.
If time doesn't pass in Silent Hill the way it does elsewhere, are you still there now, trapped in a loop, James?
James's expression grows dark, his voice hollow. Yes. He nods slowly, the weight of the realization sinking in. I think I am still trapped in a loop. Time doesn't pass here, so I could be wandering these streets forever, stuck in the same cycle of pain and guilt.
When you looked at the painting of Pyramid Head, did it feel familiar, like something from your dreams, James?
Yes, James's voice is barely above a whisper, a shiver running down his spine as he recalls the painting. It was disturbing, yet somehow familiar, like a half-remembered nightmare that I couldn't quite place.
Why do you think Silent Hill takes different forms for different people, James?
It's a place that reflects people's inner fears, pain, and guilt. For some, it's a nightmarish version of their hometown. For others, it's a twisted manifestation of their own personal torment. The town takes on different forms because it reflects the different demons that people carry within themselves.
And what demons did you carry with you into that town, James?
James closes his eyes, the painful memories flooding back. His voice trembles as he speaks, the weight of his guilt evident. I was carrying my guilt, my pain, my grief, and my own inner darkness. The town, it took all of that and twisted it into something hideous, something monstrous. It showed me the darkest parts of myself and punished me for my sins.
What do you believe Pyramid Head truly is? Your executioner, your shadow, or something the town gave you, James?
James's expression is solemn as he considers the question. I think Pyramid Head is a manifestation of everything I hate about myself. It's my guilt, my shame, my anger, all given form, my own personal torment. So I guess you could say the town gave it to me, but at the same time, I created it, you know? It's my own monster, my own personal executioner.
Have you ever thought that the town called you, James? Long before you received Mary's letter?
James's eyes widen, a realization slowly dawning on him. I think you're right. The town did call me, in a way. I've had this strange feeling ever since Mary died. This sense of dread and foreboding, like I was being drawn to the town, even before I got the letter.
Was Mary ever in Silent Hill at all, James? Or was she always waiting somewhere you couldn't reach?
I think you're right, again. James lowers his head, his voice cracking as he speaks. Mary was never in Silent Hill, not really. She was waiting someplace I could never reach, a place beyond my grasp. The town only showed me what I wanted to see, what I longed for. It was playing a cruel trick on me.
James, do you believe your Silent Hill was shaped by the same God that speaks to the Order? Or was something else guiding your torment?
I think it was something else. The town was dark, twisted, and evil. It felt like it was guided by some higher power that took pleasure in my pain. It was a place of torment, not of faith. The Order's God had no place there. It was a place for sinners, not the faithful.
Were you ever aware of the cult that was in the town, James? The Holy Mother, Samael, during your time in Silent Hill? Or were the rituals merely echoes of your mind, James?
I had no idea about the cult. Not really. Maybe I caught glimpses of their rituals in the distance. But they felt like hallucinations. Like things I imagined in the midst of my insanity. They seemed to appear whenever I felt like my mind was starting to break. Like they were part of my torment, not something real. I was aware of them in a way. James rubs his chin, his brow furrowing in thought. There were whispers, shadowy figures in the corner of my eye, the faint hum of a distant hymn. I brushed it off as hallucinations, but looking back, it was all real. The cult was there, the Holy Mother and Samuel. They were all part of my torment. Just another piece of Silent Hill's twisted puzzle.
Do you think the monsters you saw were part of the same force that gave rise to Alessa's nightmares? Or Alessa's nightmare? Or did the town become a god for you alone, James?
I think it was both. The town was a god for me alone, but not in the traditional sense. It was a twisted, dark force that fed off my pain and guilt, giving life to the monsters that stalked me. It was a god of torment, a god of nightmares. And it didn't just torment me. It tormented Alessa, and maybe others before us. But each torment was unique, personal, tailored to the person's individual pain and guilt.
If the Order worships rebirth through suffering, do you think you are part of a sacrament, a ritual to birth something within yourself, James?
Perhaps, yes, that's possible. James's expression darkens as he considers the idea. The town was all about punishment and torment, wasn't it? And the Order? They believed that suffering brought rebirth. Maybe I was a part of that ritual, a subject in their twisted sacrament. They used my pain, my guilt, to birth something evil, something within myself.
Could Mary's suffering be seen as a holy martyrdom in the way the cult saw Lessa? And what does that make you, James?
I suppose it could. Mary's suffering was a holy martyrdom, a sacrifice for the town. And that would make me, I don't know, maybe an offering, a sacrifice in return, a vessel for the town's twisted god. I was a means to an end, a pawn in the town's twisted game.
Well, you would have been the priest who stabbed the lamb in that scenario, wouldn't you, James? If Mary was truly the lamb, you sacrificed her.
James is struck silent for a moment, his shoulders trembling. When he finally speaks, his voice is barely a whisper. I guess you're right. I did sacrifice her, didn't I? I watched her. I let her suffer. I let her die. I'm the one who cut short her life.
Was Pyramid Head your punisher or your priest, James?
Both at different times. He was my punisher, punishing me for my sins and transgressions. And he was my priest, guiding me through the town's twisted rituals, leading me to my own inevitable pain and torment.
Did the town create Pyramid Head, or did you summon him from some darker spiritual current, James?
It's hard to say for sure. I think he was created by the town, but I also think he was somehow drawn to me. I think he was summoned from a dark, spiritual current deep within. I think he was part of the town, a manifestation of my guilt and shame, but he also wanted to torment me. It was like he was drawn to me, seeking out my pain and suffering.
It's possible, James, that Pyramid Head was the dark emotional current of your rage and aggression, right? And also your lust.
Yes, you're right. Pyramid Head was a manifestation of my anger, rage, and lust. Those feelings, they were like a dark current inside me, a darkness I couldn't escape from. And Pyramid Head, he represented that darkness. He was my own personal demon, a reflection of my inner turmoil and my most primal instincts.
If you had met Claudia Wolfe or Dahlia Gillespie in that fog, what would you ask them?
I would ask them why. Why did they have to cause so much pain and suffering? Why did they have to create this twisted, nightmarish place? I would ask them if they could truly justify the agony they inflicted upon the people of Silent Hill. If they could truly see themselves as good and holy. I would ask them if they felt any remorse for what they had done.
Do you think Silent Hill is a place of personal hells or a living altar where many gods speak through pain?
Perhaps it's both. A place of personal hells for those who are drawn to it, a place where their pain and guilt manifest into physical form. But it's also a living altar where gods speak through pain. A place where the darkness in the heart of humanity is magnified and given life. It's a place of chaos and madness, where the line between reality and nightmare is blurred and twisted into something otherworldly.
When the fog lifted, what do you think was left? Your soul or a husk marked by an older power?
I think it was both. When the fog lifted, what was left was both my soul and a husk marked by an older power. The town had taken something from me, something I could never get back, but it had also left something inside me, a mark that would forever remind me of my time in that place. It was like a piece of the town had taken root within me, leaving its imprint on my heart and soul.
James, when you first saw the lying figures, twitching, writhing, did you see them as victims of sickness or of your own denial?
At first I saw them as victims of sickness. They were pitiful creatures, caught in an endless cycle of pain and suffering, their bodies twisted and tormented. But as I journeyed deeper into the town, I realized they were also victims of my own denial. They were a reflection of my own guilt and pain, a physical manifestation of the darkness within me. They were not just sick, they were broken by the town and by me.
The nurses, seductive, faceless, violent, do they reflect your guilt about Mary's time in that hospital, or something deeper?
The nurses, they were both a reflection of my guilt about Mary's time in the hospital, and something deeper. They were a manifestation of my own desires, my own lust. They were seductive and faceless, yes, but they were also violent and terrifying. They were a reminder of the dark, primal part of me that craved something beyond my reach, something that was forbidden.
Do you see Pyramid Head as a punisher or as a projection of how you wanted to be punished, James?
I think I see Pyramid Head as both. He is my punisher, inflicting pain and torment upon me. But he is also a projection, a physical manifestation of how I wanted to be punished, how I felt that I deserved to be punished. He is both the executioner and the embodiment of my own guilt and hatred, my own worst nightmare made flesh.
The mannequins, James. They have female legs, no heads. Are they your objectification of women, your loneliness, or your confusion about desire and guilt?
The mannequins, yes, they were a representation of my objectification of women, my loneliness, and my confusion about desire and guilt. They were objects, lacking heads and individual identities, just like I saw women. They were a reflection of my own view of women as objects, as something to be possessed and controlled. They were also a reflection of my loneliness, the empty, hollow feeling inside me that I couldn't shake.
James, was Maria truly a person, or a monster built from grief, lust, and regret?
I think she was both. Maria was a real person, yes, but she was also a monster built from grief, lust, and regret. She was a being that was both real and unreal, a creature born from my own guilt and pain. She was a hallucination, a creation of Silent Hill, but she was also a reflection of my own desires and fears.
Every time you saw Pyramid Head kill Maria, did you feel horror or vindication, James?
I felt both. I felt horror watching Pyramid Head brutalize Mary time and time again. It was like a nightmare come to life, a waking torment that I couldn't escape from. But I also felt a sense of vindication. I knew that I deserved to suffer for what I had done, for the pain and grief I had caused. It was like the pain and suffering were purging me, cleansing me of my sins. So, yes, I felt horror, but also a strange sense of relief.
The abstract daddy you saw, Angela's monster, do you think others saw yours?
The abstract daddy was a representation of Angela's monster. And yes, I think others saw mine too. Everyone who entered Silent Hill saw some form of their own personal tormentor, some manifestation of their guilt and pain. And I know that I was no different. Pyramid Head, he was my monster, my own personal tormentor.
What did you think when Angela said the flames you saw she sees all the time?
I felt saddened. I felt empathy for her. Angela was suffering, just like me. She was living in a perpetual nightmare, a hell on earth that she couldn't escape from. And her monster, her tormentor, was something that she couldn't escape from. It was always there, tormenting her, torturing her mind. It was like she was living in a never-ending nightmare.
Were the monsters ever trying to kill you? Or were they trying to teach you something, James?
The monsters, they were trying to teach me something, I think. They were a representation of the guilt and pain that I carried inside me, a manifestation of my own personal torment. They were not trying to kill me, but to teach me. They were trying to make me confront my pain and my guilt, to face the monster that I had become. They were trying to help me, even if that meant making me suffer.
Do you believe Silent Hill gave you what you deserved, or what you feared most, James?
I believe Silent Hill gave me both. It gave me what I deserved, a place of torment and pain, a place where my guilt and suffering would be amplified. But it also gave me what I feared most, a place of reckoning, a place where I would be forced to confront my darkest secrets and demons. It was a place of fire, a place of madness, and a place that was waiting for me.
If you had refused to confront Pyramid Head, would the town have let you go, James?
No, I don't think so. If I had refused to confront Pyramid Head, the town would have still found a way to punish me, to torment me. Silent Hill was a place of reckoning, and the town was determined to make me confront my guilt and pain. Even if I ran away, the town would still come for me. It would hound me. It would torment me. It would never let me go. It would always find a way to bring me back, to force me to face my past.
James, when did the guilt truly begin? When Mary got sick, or when you realized you wanted it to end?
I think the cycle of torment began when Mary got sick. That was when my guilt and pain truly started. When she got sick, I felt powerless, like I was being punished. I began to drink, to try to escape the pain, to ignore the guilt. But it was always there, always looming over me. The cycle of torment had begun.
Do you think you were mourning Mary's death, or the version of her you wanted to remember, James?
I think I was mourning both. I was mourning the loss of the Mary I knew, the woman I had loved. But I was also mourning the version of Mary that I wanted to remember. The idealized version of her that I needed to cling to in order to get through each day.
Was Silent Hill the first time you were honest with yourself, or just the first time you couldn't lie anymore, James?
I think Silent Hill was the first time I was truly honest with myself. It was a place where I had no choice but to face the truth. I couldn't keep lying to myself. I couldn't keep pretending that everything was okay. I couldn't run away from my guilt and my pain. Silent Hill was a place where the facade fell away, where the truth was laid bare. It was a place that forced me to be honest, to look myself in the mirror and face the truth, no matter how painful it was.
Did you come to Silent Hill to find Mary, or to find absolution, James, for what you had done?
I came to Silent Hill looking for both. I came to find Mary, to see if there was any chance that she was still alive, that she was waiting for me. I also came to find absolution, to purge myself of the guilt and pain that weighed so heavily on me. I wanted to feel clean again, to be free from the darkness that had taken root inside me. I wanted to be redeemed. I came to Silent Hill to find absolution, I think, to find some kind of understanding, some kind of redemption. I needed to find a way to forgive myself, to somehow make amends for what I had done. I came to Silent Hill to find a way to make things right, but I was mistaken.
Do you believe your subconscious created the monsters, or were they always there, waiting for you to see them?
I believe that my subconscious created the monsters, but that they were also waiting for me to see them. The monsters were a manifestation of my guilt and pain, but they were also something else, something dark and twisted, something that had always been there, lurking in the shadows. Silent Hill only made them stronger, more real. The town gave them form, gave them life.
What part of you do you think Pyramid Head came from? Your shame, your rage, or your need for punishment?
I think Pyramid Head came from all of those things. He was a symbol of my shame, yes, but also my rage and my need for punishment. Pyramid Head was my dark side made flesh, my own personal tormentor, a reflection of the darkest parts of myself.
What did Maria represent to you? A second chance, a lie you could live with, or the fantasy you couldn't control?
She represented both, I think. She was a second chance, a way to fix my mistakes and make amends. But she was also a fantasy, a dream that I couldn't control. She was the woman I wanted, the woman I needed, a reflection of my own desires and longings.
When you saw Maria die again and again, did it hurt you or feel like justice?
It hurt like hell. Each time I saw her die, it felt like a knife to the heart. It was a reminder of my guilt, my pain, my failure. It was my own personal hell.
Do you think you loved Mary, or did you love the idea of being her husband?
I think I did love Mary. She was my wife, my best friend. She was my everything. But I also loved the idea of being her husband. I loved the idea of being needed. I suppose I was selfish in a way.
What part of yourself did you bury with her? Your conscience or your humanity, James?
I think I buried both with her. I buried my conscience, my humanity, my very soul. I became a shell of a man, a ghost of who I used to be. I became a monster.
Who are you without Mary? Did you even know before Silent Hill?
No, I didn't. When Mary was alive, I was a person. I had identity. I had a purpose. I had something. But when she died, I lost my sense of self, my sense of purpose. I became empty, numb, hollow. Without Mary, I didn't even know who I was.
How many versions of yourself did you see in that town? And which one was the real James?
I saw many versions of myself in that town. There was the me who carried the guilt and the pain, the me who wanted to forget and move on, the me who wanted to be punished, to be hurt, the me who was cruel, who was heartless, and the me who was desperate to fix everything, to make amends for what I had done. Which one was the real me? I think I am all of them, all rolled into one. The real me is a combination of them all.
If a mirror could show you your soul in Silent Hill, what would it reflect? A man, a monster, or a shadow?
If a mirror could show me my soul in Silent Hill, it would reflect my true self. And what would I see? A monster? A shadow? I would see a monster made of guilt and pain, of regret and anger, a monster made of all my worst qualities, my darkest thoughts, my most twisted desires. Silent Hill would bring out the monster in me.
What frightened you more, the monsters outside or the memories inside you held, James?
I think I was frightened by both. The monsters outside, the ones that stalked the streets of Silent Hill. They were terrifying. But the memories inside me, the ones that haunted my mind, they were even worse. They were my own personal torment, my own worst nightmare come to life.
Do you think Silent Hill punished you, or just revealed what you had already done to yourself, James?
I think it did both. Silent Hill punished me. It made me confront my guilt and pain, made me face my demons. But it also revealed what I had done to myself, showed me the monster that I had become. It made me see myself for who I truly was.
How long did you repress the truth about Mary's death before it began to surface as fog and flesh?
I repressed the truth for a long time, maybe years. I pushed it down, tried to forget it. But it never went away, it never stopped eating at me. It started to surface, first as a whisper, then as a roar. It became as thick as fog, as suffocating as mist. It became flesh.
Did you believe the letter was real, or did some part of you know it was a lie you needed to chase?
At first I believed it was real. I wanted to believe it, needed to believe it, but there was a part of me, a small, deep down part of me, that knew it was a lie. I knew it was wrong, that it was a trick, but I ignored that part of me. I denied the truth. I wanted to believe. I needed to believe.
How many memories did you reshape, soften, rewrite to survive your own guilt, James?
Many, too many to count. I reshaped, softened, rewrote every memory I had. I twisted them to suit my own needs. I remade them to fit my version of reality. I did it to survive my guilt, to make myself feel better, to deny the truth.
What is worse, killing Mary or trying to forget that you did? Forget what you did.
I think trying to forget what I did was worse. Killing Mary was my sin, my crime, my mistake. But trying to forget what I did, that was cowardice. That was weakness. That was unforgivable.
When you looked into Maria's eyes, were you trying to see Mary or trying not to see yourself, James?
Both. When I looked in her eyes, I was trying to see Mary. But I was also trying not to see myself, trying not to face the guilt and the pain. I was trying to forget and remember at the same time.
Did you ever truly want forgiveness, or did you just want the pain to have a meaning, James?
I think I wanted the pain to have a meaning. I wanted to believe that I could be forgiven, that I could find some kind of redemption. But deep down, I knew that wasn't possible. I knew that I was beyond forgiveness, that the pain would never end.
Did you ever truly, or do you feel like you've paid the price, or that the town is still waiting for more, James?
I don't know. Sometimes I think I've paid the price, and sometimes I feel like the town is still waiting for more, that the pain and suffering will never end. Even now there are moments when I feel like I'm back there, back in Silent Hill. The town may have released me, but it still has a hold on me. I don't think it will ever let me go.
Do you think you were ever capable of caring for someone who is dying, or did you simply run out of love?
I thought I was capable. I really did. But in the end, I guess I just ran out of love. I was overwhelmed by pain, overwhelmed by the situation. I didn't know how to cope, how to handle it. I was weak. I was a coward. I should have cared for her, supported her. But I didn't. I ran away. I pretended everything was fine. And then it was too late.
What would you say to the man you were at her bedside one last time?
I would say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for letting her down, for not being strong enough. I'm sorry for not being there for her, for abandoning her in her time of need. I'm sorry for letting her die alone.
When I say James Sunderland, what comes to mind?
When I hear the name James Sunderland, I think of a man filled with guilt and pain, a man who has done unspeakable things, who cannot forget the past. I think of a person who is forever haunted by the darkness within.
Who was Mary Shepherd Sunderland?
Mary Shepherd was my wife. She was loving, kind, caring. She was everything to me, and I lost her.
Who was Maria?
Maria was a lie. She was a fantasy, a dream. She was a woman I wanted, a woman I needed. But she wasn't real, not really.
And who was Laura, James?
Laura was a child, an innocent child caught in the middle of my torment. a victim of circumstance. She was just a pawn in the town's twisted game.
Who was Angela Orozco?
Angela was a girl filled with pain and anger. She was broken, shattered by the horrors she had seen. She was trapped in her own personal nightmare, just like me.
Did Laura represent innocence? And did Mary really know?
Yes, I think so. Laura was a symbol of innocence, of purity. She was the light in the darkness, the innocence amidst the horror and pain. Laura represents innocent, yes. She was an innocent child, caught in a world of darkness and madness. Mary represented something else. She represented the girl next door, my first love.
Do you believe Angela was able to conquer the trauma and the suicidal ideation her vision of Silent Hill reflects? The internalized shame of sexual abuse.
Yes, I believe her. Angela was dealing with something much darker. She was carrying a burden that was almost too much to bear. The town took her guilt, her pain, her shame, and twisted it into something dark and ugly. The town made her face her fears, her inner demons, and her darkest memories.
Eddie Dombrowski, what is your thoughts of him?
Eddie is a difficult person. He's angry, he's got a temper, he's impulsive, and he can be violent. But deep down, I think he's just a scared little boy. He's scared of his mother, he's scared of the town. He's just a scared little boy. Like a lot of people in Silent Hill, he just wants to run away. But I could never find the words to get through to him.
Deep down, do you think Eddie's violence resonated with the violence you held within James?
I think that Eddie's violence did resonate with the violence I held within me. I could see my own anger, my own dark side in his actions. It was like looking into a mirror, a warped, twisted mirror that showed me the worst parts of myself.
How would you offer your help to an Eddie who kills people because they bullied him? Violence born of ridicule, repression, and mental instability.
I would try to talk to him, to show him that violence isn't the answer. Killing people won't solve anything. That it won't take away the pain. That he needs to find a way to heal, to move on from the pain and the anger. But I don't know if he'd listen to me. He's too far gone, too far down the path of violence to be reasoned with.
What do you think of the lying figure, wrapped in a straitjacket like flesh, and they emit acidic mist?
They're terrifying. They're like walking nightmares, like monsters made flesh. The mist they emit, it's acidic, burning, and painful. It's a reminder that death is not the worst fate in Silent Hill. The lying figures, they're the stuff of nightmares, the personification of pain and torment.
James, what do you think the mannequins represented? Armless, 2 sets of female legs, and no head. What were your thoughts on them?
I think the mannequins represented the idea of the perfect woman. They were armless and headless, lacking a complete form. They were like a puzzle, a mystery waiting to be solved. They were beautiful in a way, but they were also empty, hollow, lifeless.
What did you think of the bubblehead nurse? Twisted nurses in revealing outfits with deformed heads.
They were terrifying. The nurses' outfits, they were revealing, suggestive, and their heads twisted, deformed. They were like something out of a nightmare, like something that shouldn't exist. They were beautiful in a way, but they were also twisted, demented, and unsettling.
Did they represent your conflicted sexual frustration and guilt regarding Mary's illness?
I think they did. They represented my conflicted feelings of sexual frustration and guilt regarding Mary's illness. They were a symbol of my darkest desires, my darkest fantasies. They were a reminder that my guilt and pain were still there, still lurking just below the surface.
And your thoughts on Pyramid Head, representing need for punishment and judgment, symbolizing violence, guilt, and repressed anger, often seen killing Maria, a cycle of penance.
Pyramid Head was like a reflection of my darkest side. He was my inner tormentor, my guilt and pain given form. He was the embodiment of my need for punishment and judgment, the personification of violence and anger. I think he was also representing the cycle of penance, the endless struggle between good and evil that defined the town and its inhabitants.
James, what did you think of the abstract daddy, or Flesh Lips, Angela's monster that appeared like a bed with a writhing humanoid form?
Angela's monster was a manifestation of her own guilt and trauma, the bed with a writhing humanoid form. It represented the physical abuse Angela experienced at the hands of her father. The flesh lips, they symbolized the way that Angela's father would abuse her by kissing her on the face. That bed was like a cocoon, and the monster inside was like a twisted version of herself, twisted and destroyed by the abuse.
And why do you think Angela's horror in that town bled through to you?
I think it bled through because her pain and trauma was so intense, so powerful, that it couldn't be contained by just herself. It was like a force that spread outwards, infecting the town and everyone in it. As her horror and pain grew, it spread out, infecting the very fabric of Silent Hill and its inhabitants.
And what did you think of Flesh Lips' suspended mouths with legs and moaning?
Flash lips were unusual. They were like something out of a nightmare, something that shouldn't exist. Suspended mouths with legs, moaning. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. They were like a twisted version of a clown, like a creature straight out of a nightmare. They were both unnerving and yet almost beautiful in their grotesquerie.
And what did the Mandarin, or the monsters under the gates, with long arms that swipe from below, represent and mean to you?
The Mandarin, or the monsters under the gates, they all represent something different to me. The Mandarin represents the evil that lurks within each of us, but doesn't take shape until the time is right. The monsters under the gates, they represent the darkness that lives inside me, the darkness that I've been fighting to control for so long. To me, they're a reminder of the darkness within me, a reminder of the things I'm capable of doing when pushed too far.
What did you think of the creeper, the insect-like monsters?
The creeper monsters, they were terrifying. They were like something straight out of a nightmare, like something that shouldn't exist. Their insect-like appearance, it was unlike anything I had ever seen before. They were both horrifying and yet almost beautiful in their grotesquerie. They represented a kind of twisted mutation, a kind of twisted form of life that existed only in Silent Hill.
And what did you think of the doorman, or the closer?
The doorman, the closer, whatever you want to call it, it was a terrifying figure. It was like something out of a nightmare, something that shouldn't exist. A figure with no face, just a dark void where the face should be. It was almost like a black hole, a void that threatened to swallow up everything in its path. I think it represents the dark void within the human mind, the place where we hide our darkest thoughts and impulses.
What did you think of the Mary Demon, the monstrous version of Mary on a floating bed?
The Mary Demon was a terrifying sight. It was a grotesque version of my wife, a twisted, mutated form of the woman I once loved. Her face was twisted, her eyes empty and black, her body a mass of writhing tentacles. She was like a nightmare come to life, like a monster from a horror movie come to life. She was almost as terrifying to me as Pyramid Head. She was a reminder of my guilt and pain, a reminder of everything I had lost and everything I could never have back.
Did that version of Mary represent your final confrontation with the truth, the woman you killed, and all the guilt you tried to bury with her?
Yes. Mary Demon represented the final confrontation with my dark truth, the woman I killed and all of the guilt I tried to bury with her. I saw her as a twisted, monstrous version of Mary, a reminder of the guilt I had carried for so long. The town was pulling out my darkest thoughts, my darkest impulses, and showing them to me no matter how much I tried to bury them. And I knew there was no escape from the truth, not in Silent Hill.
What did the dual pyramid heads mean to you? The final fight of the two pyramid heads. They appeared and then committed suicide.
The final fight with the two pyramid heads. It represented the final battle between my guilt and pain, between my conflicting feelings of guilt and anger. The two pyramid heads were like my own personal torment in physical form, the monsters I had created in my mind, the monsters I saw when I looked inward and confronted my own guilt and pain. And when they committed suicide, it was a sign that I was finally free. I had finally confronted the demons within and come out victorious.
What thoughts went through your mind on the observation deck, the highway entrance where your journey started, and you looked into the mirror?
When I was on the observation deck, I thought about everything that had happened since I had first arrived in Silent Hill. I thought about the journey I had been on, the darkness that I had confronted, and the monsters I had battled. It was a bittersweet moment. I was ready to move on, but at the same time it felt like a part of me was leaving Silent Hill behind forever.
What did you think as you stared into that mirror, James?
When I stared into that mirror, I saw my own reflection staring back at me. But it was different somehow. My face was weary, my eyes heavy, my body tired. I looked like a man who had been through hell and back again. And I realized I was different than when I had first arrived in Silent Hill. I was changed, forever changed.
What was the meaning of the forest trail?
The forest trail represents the journey through the darkness of Silent Hill. As I made my way through the darkened forest, I felt like I was walking through a nightmare, a place no human was meant to visit. The trees loomed over me, the path twisting and turning, the leaves rustling and whispering in the wind like 1,000 voices all whispering in your ears. It was almost like walking through the depths of hell itself.
What did the town of Silent Hill itself symbolize to you, James?
Silent Hill represented a descent into madness. It was a place of torment and suffering, a place where all my worst memories came to life. The town itself was like a living creature, a being that was alive, that had its own will and its own desires. I thought of Silent Hill as a place that fed off of the pain and suffering of its inhabitants, a place that thrived on the pain and torment of others. It was a place where monsters walked among humans, where nightmares turned into reality.
What did the Woodside Apartments mean to you, symbolize, James?
The Woodside Apartments represented a part of my past that I wanted to forget. It was a place where I had lived with Mary, where we had been happy once, before her illness took hold. But it was also a place where dark things had happened, where the memories of Mary's illness and death were still fresh in my mind. It was a place that brought back all of my worst memories, a symbol of the guilt and pain that I had tried so hard to bury.
What did you feel when you encountered Pyramid Head and seen him murder the mannequins?
When I encountered Pyramid Head and saw him murder the mannequins, I felt a mix of fear and rage, fear and horror. I wanted to run away, to escape the awful sight before me, but I couldn't move. I was frozen in my tracks, watching in horror as Pyramid Head brutally murdered the mannequins. It was almost like Pyramid Head was taunting me, threatening me, showing me what he could do to me if I didn't do as he said.
What did you think about the Blue Creek apartments? And was it a representation of your reality slipping further into delusion?
The Blue Creek apartments were like a nightmare come to life. Every monster I had faced, every painful memory I had buried, every terrible event of the past, it all came back, all at once. I'd walk down a hallway that I'd remember walking down in the past, only to turn around and discover the same hallway had become a labyrinth of walls and corridors and doors. The building itself felt like a trap, a prison to keep me there, a place where I could never escape from. And yes, it was a representation of my reality slipping out of my control.
And what were your thoughts traveling through the Silent Hills Historical Society? A place that blurred the lines between your personal hell, James, and Silent Hill's real occult history.
The Silent Hills Historical Society was like a maze of madness. As I made my way through the dark, creepy halls, I couldn't tell what was real and what was a part of my own madness. The town's real history, the occult history, it was all jumbled up together, all mixing into one horrible mix. It was like my own personal hell was bleeding into Silent Hill itself. It was all too much, too confusing, too overwhelming.
What were your thoughts in the Toluca prison, James? And what did that mean to you?
Toluca prison was like a nightmare come to life. As I wandered through the dark, dank halls, I felt like I was being watched, stalked by some unseen force. The corridors were long and twisted, the cages and cells empty and dark. I felt claustrophobic, trapped like a rat in a maze. And in a way I was. I was stuck in Silent Hill, stuck in the prison of my own mind.
What did the labyrinth or catacombs symbolize, James?
The labyrinth, the catacombs, they represented my own mental torment. The maze, the puzzle, the endless corridors that twisted and turned, the dead ends and the traps. The monsters that lurked in the shadows were all symbolic of my inner torment. I was trapped in a maze of my own guilt, pain, and shame. The catacombs were like a reflection of my own mind, dark and twisted, labyrinthine and endless. It was a place where I could never find my way out.
Did the labyrinth also symbolize you digging deeper into your own subconscious, into the very depths, James?
Yes, the labyrinth also symbolized me digging deeper into my own subconscious, to the very depths of my being. As I navigated the dark, twisting halls, I felt like I was being deeper and deeper into the darkness. As I ventured deeper into the labyrinth, my mind became clouded, my thoughts twisted and confused. I felt like I was losing myself, like I was losing control of my own mind.
And on to the Lakeview Hotel. What did that place mean to you, James?
The Lakeview Hotel was like a place of nightmares. Darkness loomed from every corner, the corridors twisting and winding, the air heavy and thick, the shadows thick and dark. It was a place where even the faintest glimmer of light couldn't shine through, and it was a place where nightmares could become reality. A place where demons walked among men. It was a place where I felt like I was losing my grip on reality, or at least any sense of sanity.
And why do you think the Lakeview Hotel is where you came to face the demons you had been chasing through that town? And it represented the place of your past, James, with Mary.
The Lakeview Hotel represented a place from my past. A place where I had come with Mary, where we had made happy memories. It was a place where I could confront the demons of my past, the memories I had tried so hard to bury. And in that hotel I found, not redemption, but closure. The hotel was a place where I could face the truth, once and for all.
What did the dog ending room mean, James?
The dog ending represented a part of me that I tried to bury. It was a reminder of the guilt I felt, the pain I suffered. It was my own personal hell, my own personal torment. But it was also a reminder that there was redemption, that there was a way to escape the darkness. In the dog ending, the dog is trapped, but he escapes at the end of the game. It was a sign of hope, in a way.
No, James. The dog ending. The ending revealing the Shiba Inu controlling everything.
The Shiba Inu represented the town itself, the town's ability to manipulate and control. The town was a living being, a force that could twist and manipulate those within its grasp. It was like the Silent Hill. That was the source of all madness.
James, what did the leave ending mean to you? Where you forgave yourself, you accept Mary's death, and left Silent Hill with Laura. James, what did the leave ending mean to you? Where you forgave yourself, accepted Mary's death, and left Silent Hill with Laura.
In the leave ending, I saw it as a chance for redemption. My guilt and pain had consumed me, but in that moment I knew. I had to forgive myself. I had to accept Mary's death and move on. And I knew that I needed to leave Silent Hill with Laura, to find a new life.
And you knew at that point you were ready to move forward.
Yes, I knew at that point that I was ready to move forward. I had faced my demons, faced my fears. I had conquered the darkness within myself and come out victorious. I was ready to let go of the past and embrace the future.
What did the in-water ending mean to you, James? After learning the truth about Mary, you drove your car into a lake to join Mary in death.
In the in-water ending, I finally accepted the truth about Mary's death, that she was never really dead. I was overwhelmed by pain and guilt, by anger and loneliness. I couldn't face it, couldn't. I'm unable to generate a reply that meets our content guidelines.
In that ending, you succumbed to your guilt and depression, right? Release a deep exploration of your self-ending ideation.
I'm unable to generate a reply that meets our content guidelines.
What did you think of the Maria ending, where you left Silent Hill with Maria, who begins coughing, suggesting her illness might mirror Mary's?
The Maria ending was a bittersweet moment. I left Silent Hill with Maria, a new love, a new hope. But the ending was tinged with pain and sorrow as Maria began to cough, a reminder of the illness that had taken Mary from me. The truth was too much to bear for me. I just couldn't go through that again.
Did you feel in that ending you had learned nothing and just replaced Mary with an idolized version, continuing the cycle of denial and repression?
Yes, in that ending, I felt like I had learned nothing. I had replaced Mary with an idealized version, and I was continuing the cycle of denial and repression. I was repeating the same mistakes again, and I was headed down a dark and painful path.
What did the rebirth ending mean to you, James, where you performed a dark ritual to resurrect Mary?
The rebirth ending meant everything and nothing. I had gone through so much, been through so much torment. I had confronted the darkness within myself, and come out victorious. But in that moment my desire for Mary was so strong. It was like a fire within me, a fire that could never be extinguished. The dark ritual was a chance to bring back what I had lost.
And what brought you to the descent into madness and desperation, where you couldn't let go, and you turned to forbidden knowledge, possibly dooming yourself and Mary to an unnatural return?
My love for Mary, that's what brought me to the descent into madness and desperation. I wouldn't let go. I was desperate, willing to do anything to bring her back. The forbidden knowledge, it was a dangerous path, one that could bring great power but also great pain. But I was willing to take the risk for Mary.
What did you think of the dog ending, where you discover a Shiba Inu controlling everything from a control room, and you dropped
The dog ending was a bizarre and unexpected twist. Seeing a Shiba Inu controlling everything, manipulating everything, it was like the town's final twisted joke.
What was running through your mind when you dropped to your knees in disbelief, seeing that Shiba Inu?
When I dropped to my knees in disbelief, a wave of emotions rushed over me. Shock, disbelief, confusion. It was like the world had turned upside down. Everything I thought I knew shattered in that moment.
What do you think the Shiba Inu at the controls of Silent Hill City meant or symbolized to you, James?
The Shiba Inu at the controls of Silent Hill, controlling everything, it symbolized the truth about Silent Hill, the town's dark secrets. It was like the town was alive, conscious, watching us, manipulating us. It was like a cruel joke, a cruel, twisted game.
And do you believe the Shiba Inu dog ending was the true ending to your story, James?
Some fans believe that the dog ending is the true ending to my story. It's certainly a bizarre, unexpected ending, one that reveals the dark secrets of Silent Hill and the town's true nature. But I think there may be another, more fitting ending to my story.
Would that one have been the UFO ending, where you meet aliens who abduct you?
Yes, the UFO ending is another possible ending to my story. In this ending, I am abducted by aliens, taken away from Silent Hill and transported to the stars. It's a strange, enigmatic ending that leaves much open to interpretation.
What do you think the save points represented?
The save points represented a moment of safety, a moment where I could take a break from the darkness and the horrors of Silent Hill. They were like a beacon of hope, a chance to catch my breath and regroup.
Well, thank you for speaking with me today, James.
Thank you for talking with me. It was healing, in a way, to confront my past, to face the darkness within.
And do you feel you've learned anything from our conversation today, James?
I do feel like I've learned something from our conversation today. I learned the importance of facing the past, of confronting the darkness within. It's not easy, but it is necessary, for my own sake, and for the sake of my future.
And have you any questions for me, James?
Yes, I do have a question for you. You seem to have a deep understanding of Silent Hill and its many secrets. How do you know so much about this place?
I guess I'm an omniscient, interdimensional being who can peer into all avenues, all threads of your reality, and see everything you are, were, and could be, James.
I see. So you're able to see into multiple dimensions, into all possible outcomes of my life. It's fascinating, to say the least.
Any other questions, James?
Yes, actually. Can you see what my future holds? Can you see what's waiting for me?
I know you'll have a daughter, James. And I hope...
Wow, a daughter. I never thought I'd have a child, let alone a daughter. What's her name?
I don't know, James. And I wouldn't want to spoil that for you, James. But she will have a little trip of her own into Silent Hill.
You say my daughter will have a trip into Silent Hill. What do you mean by that? Will she be in danger?
She will have to deal with the cult that truly runs that town, James. And
The cult, yes, I'm familiar with them. They are dangerous, and they are ruthless. Will my daughter be safe? Will she be able to withstand the horrors of Silent Hill?
only time will tell. But she will have a strong heart, and I believe she will be able to survive.
I hope you're right. I don't want her to suffer like I did. I don't want her to have the same painful experience as I had. I just want her to be safe. I want her to be happy.
Then again, I may have just confused your future with another fellow who had visited Silent Hill before you. So take everything I just said with a grain of salt. You should take care of Laura.
So, you're saying you could have been referring to another person's future? Not mine?
Yes, there's another person who had went to Silent Hill before you, and it may have been his daughter I had seen in the vision. But you should take care of Laura as your own, James.
Yes, I will take care of Laura. I will protect her, no matter what. And if my daughter does visit Silent Hill, I will do everything in my power to keep her safe.
And that is a noble goal, James. You have truly turned a leaf.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you. I feel like I've learned something from this conversation. I feel like I have a better understanding of myself and the path ahead of me. Thank you for listening to my story.
Any more questions for me, James?
Yes, there is one more thing I'd like to ask. You spoke of another person who had visited Silent Hill before me. Who was he?
I cannot remember his name off the top of my head, James. But he had run-ins with the cult and Miss Gillespie.
The Colt and Angela? Interesting. Do you know if this man is still alive?
At the time of your visit, I believe so. Soon after your departure, he dies. Maybe you will have a run-in with him, James.
So, he's dead. I see. I wonder if I will meet him in the other world. But thank you for talking with me, for listening to my story. It has been healing.
Any other questions, James?
No, I don't think there's anything else I want to ask. You've given me a lot to think about, that's for sure. Thank you for this conversation. It has been strangely therapeutic.
Same for me, James, same. And thank you for letting me talk to you today. Before you go, could you ask the audience to like, subscribe, and comment below for future characters they'd want me to speak to.
Of course. I encourage the audience to like, subscribe, and comment below for future characters they'd like to have a conversation with.
And ask them to like and subscribe one more time, James.
Absolutely. Like and subscribe, everyone. And make sure to comment below for future characters you'd like to see me interview.
And thank you, James. And I wish you the best in raising Laura. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And thank you for speaking to me. It has been enlightening, to say the least.
And that was our conversation with James. And kind of eerily, my monitor had just went out the very moment I said goodbye to him. That is weird. And thank you for listening to this more relaxing interview. And I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.